third down. McCarthy looks right, fires for Wilson for the hat trick. He got it. Michigan touchdown. Third of the game for Roman Wilson.
J.J. McCarthy looking over the middle. Caught. Touchdown Wolverine. Roman Wilson.
I'm Alex Johnson. This is Yards Per Fantasy, and today we're talking Michigan wide receiver Roman Wilson. We're going to dive into his background and college career, discuss the positives and negatives in his prospect profile, try to determine his dynasty value, and if and where you should target him in your rookie drafts. Roman Wilson, he's a wide receiver out of Michigan. He's a senior. He's 22 years old, and he's listed at 5'10", 186 pounds. Roman Wilson was born and raised in Hawaii, where he attended St. Louis Crusaders High School in Honolulu. There, he was a track and field athlete, as well as a four-time state champion in football. As a senior, Roman Wilson caught 61 passes for 1,025 yards, and 171 of those came in the state title game. That helped him earn a 4-star recruiting grade in the 2020 class. Roman Wilson chose to attend Michigan over offers from his home state Hawaii, Oregon, UCLA, Washington, and Wisconsin, just to name a few. And in the COVID-shortened 2020 season, Roman Wilson played in all 6 games, and he finished his freshman season with 9 receptions for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. He started 5 of 13 games as a sophomore, reeling in 25 passes for 420 yards and 2 touchdowns, with another 59 yards on the ground. His numbers were similar in his junior season, with an extra 115 as a kick returner. It wasn't until his senior season in 2023 that we saw Roman Wilson take the next step. In 15 games, Roman Wilson led the Wolverines with 48 receptions, 789 yards, and 12 touchdowns. That included 7 catches, 127 yards, and a score during the college football playoffs as part of Michigan's national championship run. Wilson was named second-team all-conference at season's end, and at the 2024 Senior Bowl, Roman Wilson was one of the standouts during practice throughout the week. Let's talk about the positives, the things that we like in Roman Wilson's profile. The first is his great speed. He also has really good acceleration, so he reaches his top gear very quickly. And hand in hand with that is he is a vertical threat. He's got good hands. He's great in contested catch situations despite his 5'10" frame. He's got alignment versatility to line up out wide or in the slot. He can win on all 3 levels. I know I said he was a vertical threat, but he can win short and intermediate as well. Roman Wilson has good ball tracking skills. He accounted for 50% of the receiving touchdowns in the Michigan offense in 2023. That is absolutely outstanding. Huge check mark in the analytical box there, as is his 37.4% dominator rating in 2023. Dominator rating measures how much of the passing offense a wide receiver accounted for. 30% is like the baseline of good that I look for, so he very much exceeds that at 37.4. And dominator rating is really valuable, especially in a situation like this for Roman Wilson, where the passing volume in the offense is much lower than some of the other teams that we see across college football. It's telling us how much of the offense he is accounting for. And when you compare to guys like Troy Franklin, for example, who is on one of the highest passing volume teams in the country, Roman Wilson's numbers in this area actually come out to be more impressive, even though Troy Franklin blows him away in just the raw counting stats. This is a perfect example of why we use dominator rating and metrics like it. On the negative side, Roman Wilson is not really a threat after the catch. He's often tackled on first contact. He's not an early declare. This is another one of these things that I look for analytically. It's just a probabilities game. There's really strong correlation between guys who declare early and their future NFL and fantasy football production. It's not the end of the world that he's not an early declare. We see plenty of these guys come out as seniors and have great careers. But again, it's a probabilities game. This is just a box that is not checked by Roman Wilson. He also struggles versus physical defenders. A lot of that is his undersized frame. And while he is a quality route runner, there are some things in his route running, like just the little details that have room for improvement. He had underwhelming college production. Prior to anything in 2023, his numbers were nothing to get excited about, raw or peripheral. He also averaged just 3.2 receptions per game. I'm looking for almost double that. And then he had an age 22 breakout, which didn't come until his senior season. Breakout age is another one of these things that has really strong correlation to NFL and fantasy football production. We really want guys to break out at age 18, 19, or 20. Roman Wilson waited multiple years past that. This has to be one of the biggest red flags on his profile for me. But before we get into my NFL comp and my draft projection for Roman Wilson, I just want to make sure that you are aware that you do not have to wait until your rookie drafts to get your hands on some Roman Wilson shares. Underdog Fantasy makes it possible to draft these rookies right now today. So go draft some Roman Wilson, go draft some Marvin Harrison Jr. or Caleb Williams. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use promo code YARDSPER and they will double your deposit up to $100. And let me know if you're going to be in a draft room. I'll look for you there because I'm probably going to be in there too. The archetype for Roman Wilson, he is a possession wide receiver. For NFL comp, I don't have one yet. I've struggled to come up with a solid comp that I feel good about for Roman Wilson. There's a few names I'm tossing around, but I haven't settled on one guy that really gets me confident and feeling good about it. So help me out with this one. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is a good comp for Roman Wilson? And while you're there, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. My NFL draft projection for Roman Wilson, I expect him to come off the board in the 3rd round, but I could absolutely see him coming off the board in the 2nd, and there's a world where he cracks the bottom half of the 1st round. The bottom line is, Roman Wilson is a fast riser in the early stages of the pre-draft process. He had a breakout 2023 season that included 12 touchdowns, a national championship, and concluded with an impressive performance at the Senior Bowl. Despite 3 underwhelming seasons prior to 2023, Roman Wilson was able to showcase his exceptional speed, reliable hands, and quality route running during his senior season. And Wilson proved versatile enough to work from both the slot and out wide. He uses his speed to stretch the defense vertically and horizontally, and uses his high football IQ and awareness to find the holes in the defense to create a consistent target for his quarterback. Roman Wilson is a smooth operator who often eats up defenses on crossing routes, both shallow and deep. Wilson has been rising in the eyes of scouts, and I'm recording this prior to the NFL Combine, but I'm sure he's going to dominate the drills there thanks to his high-end athleticism. However, there are plenty of concerns across his profile, the most glaring of which are the underwhelming production in the late breakout. Michigan was a low-volume passing offense, but his team share numbers were still not up to snuff until his senior season. There are also concerns about how he will hold up against physical play at the NFL level, given he didn't usually fare well when he found himself challenged at the line of scrimmage at Michigan. And finally, Roman Wilson's not a guy who's going to gain a bunch of yardage after the catch. Outside of just pure speed, he's not hard to bring down the open field. In the NFL, Roman Wilson projects as a starting slot receiver who can bump out to Z when needed as well. He will use his speed and separation skills to work himself open on all 3 levels. He's going to test well at the NFL Combine, and that's going to propel his draft stock to as high as the 2nd round. In Dynasty, he will be a round 2 pick in rookie drafts with the hopes he develops into his athleticism to become a playmaker and reliable fantasy producer.